Running your own real estate investment business can be stressful, time-consuming, and difficult to manage. Where do you start? Why go out and try and reinvent the wheel when we have the answer? With our exclusive training program, we will teach you how to free up your time to build your business, develop your goals, learning where to find the money, how to find better deals, keeping track of offers, building a team, and developing a business plan that works for you. We at Real Impact Real Estate Training and Mentoring have all the answers for you. We have several plans to help you get your business to the next level. We have developed the best one-on-one personal training system in the industry. We have a proven structure that has been developed for more than 50 years through the purchase and sales of thousands of homes and commercial properties. We will help you set up and build your real estate investment business. Whether you are new to investing or you are a seasoned professional, we have a plan for you to customize your business to a method that works, is affordable, and fits your budget. With training modules like finding money, finding deals, learning how to get correct comps, building a team, short sales, subject twos, foreclosures, making multiple offers, understanding auctions, REOs, and tax sales, working to build your construction team, and finding sellers and buyers. Find your property management team, plus over 70 additional training modules to choose from. Sit down with us for a one-on-one consulting to see what training plan is best to develop your goals and to build your business by using the 5 M's of investing: mining, money, maintenance, marketing, and management. Wouldn't your life be great if you can live it on your own terms? We help you develop and structure your business to take massive action. Join the Real Impact Real Estate Training today. Change your life today with real estate investing.
Hi there, Roger Pascal here. I'm the CEO of Real Impact Training Systems. This is our Sunday night call. Tonight's call is we're going to be talking about how to prepare offers. So for those of you that are new to this call, this is live. So for those of you that are new to this call, we at Real Impact, we improve the quality of people's lives through real estate investing. We're all local. We all know our market. We know the players in our market. Excuse me. So we have several locations throughout Texas and Oklahoma. We provide the local real estate investors quality of being local to you. So our locations are franchises, and those that and are operated by seasoned investors who we call Impact Master Trainers, or we call ourselves IMTs for short. Oh my goodness, it's going to be one of those nights for me. Our locations are in addition to our local monthly meetings and workshops, our IMTs also offer a variety of one-on-one mentoring programs that can help you no matter where you're at in your personal real estate journey. If you're interested in learning more about our training options, please reach out to one of our Impact Master Trainers. You can find the IMT locations, contact information online at our website, realimpacttraining.com. Just click on locations. So in a few minutes, we're going to have several of our IMTs that will be joining us to meet on the call tonight. One of our primary objectives each Sunday night is to provide you with an opportunity to ask questions about real estate investing. No need to wait for the work week to start tomorrow before you get your answers. We'll have them for you tonight. So if you're subscribed if you're on the YouTube channel and you're not subscribed, hit subscribe and a chat box will open up. If you are on Facebook and you're on one of our live channels on Facebook, you can ask the questions through that, and it will show up, and we'll get answers to your questions. So tonight, like I said, we're going to be talking about preparing offers and how we do that and how we do that successfully. I can't tell you the number of times I see people that investors or people that want to be investors just make an offer. The people don't accept it. They walk away from it. everybody walks away thinking they don't get the deal. That's not what it's about. It's all about negotiations and making that happen. So if we can go ahead and bring up all of our IMTs on the screen right now. And Karen Maxwell, Impact Plano. She's also corporate sales. Tim Lockhart, which is Impact Wichita Falls and Denton. And Doug and Renee Toon, Impact Longview. So thank you all for all being on here tonight. And I'm excited on this. Even though I can't talk tonight, I got up very, very early this morning, and I guess I didn't get my nap. I haven't had a nap in years, so I probably should have had a nap today. I don't know. But so welcome everybody on board tonight. So how's everybody doing?
Great. For having us.
Good deal. All right. So this is an exciting subject that I like. I have passion for, because I see the results that we get as investors when we know how to prepare offers. We know what we're doing. We know how to negotiate with the sellers, and we're here to solve their problems. So right before we got on this call tonight, we were kind of just going over some things on this call. The 4 or 5 of us on this call tonight, and Doug had a lot of great comments about, structuring offers and structuring deals and making sure that we're solving the people's problems, and we offer them kind of what they're looking for, and we make it happen. So who wants to kick this off? Karen, we'll have you kick this off tonight.
Well, okay. I was going to have you kick it off because you're in the top.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Just a few things. In the description box under our screen here, you'll see all the links to all the different Real Impact locations. And so feel free to reach out to any of us. If you don't have a local group in your area, reach out to me and I'll see what I can do about finding someone, maybe you, wants to open up a group in that area and get to training people on real estate investing. So we're always expanding and we're always looking for new people. So get with me if you're interested in that. And we can also find out who's near you that can work with you. So, just because we're not in your area doesn't mean that we're not connected. So feel free to reach out. Okay. So Roger, questions for you. Tell us how you prepare your offers, because everybody's different. I want to make sure that everybody understands that everybody runs their business differently and we all have our own niches. And I'm not going to let you talk about subject 2 tonight.
Yeah, there you go. Later we'll be.
That's later. How do you prepare your offers whenever you're dealing with your sellers? And tell us about maybe something unique or something really amazing that you were able to get your seller to say yes to. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, I like to structure my offers and excuse me, in 3 different ways. And I'll have an all cash offer. I'll have terms in cash, and then I'll have terms only. And we have some slides we're going to go through in a little bit later on this, but we're gonna kind of go over those. But it gives a solution to the seller. And sometimes the sellers they think they know what they want, but when it comes down to it, they don't really know what they want. They don't have a plan. Like most of us in this world. Sometimes we think, oh, this is what we want. And then after we process that whole project, we're like, oh, wow, I probably could have done that better. And it's our job as investors to kind of go over it with them and ask some of the hard questions. And, well, what do you want to do? Well, I want cash. What do you want to do? What are you going to do with that cash? And there's investors out there that have a hard time asking those questions. And it's good questions to ask is, what are you going to do with that cash? Back in March, we had Pete Fortunato from Tampa, Florida. We had him here in the North Texas area. And he's phenomenal at talking to people. I've never met anybody in my life that talks to people as well as Pete does. And he had an analogy that cash is like a big block of ice. It just continues to sit there and melt. So, that when we offer terms to people and we offer how we can make that happen, and that's almost always successful, or at least it gets them talking about what they're doing and what they want to do. And, a lot of people, the first things they're going to say is well, I'm going to pay off my bills, or I'm going to do this or whatever. But once you offer them, here's my 3 different scenarios that I'm going to offer you on how we're going to make this happen. Like I said, it really opens the doors up for conversation. We're there to solve their problems. We're there to try to get them away from that bad deal they've got, or away from that problem that they are working with right then. So that's kind of how I structure my deals, is three areas here. I've got some slides that we'll put up here in a minute,
okay.
But and we'll go over that. And I know that several of our students have been extremely successful with this, and those of us that are IMTs were successful with this whole program too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that. And yes, I know we'll get to a lot of that later with some visuals. Okay, Doug and Renee, I'm going to pass it off to you guys. Same question. Tell us how you prepare your offers, and then tell me about maybe a unique or creative one, an amazing deal that you were able to get the seller to say yes to.
Well, early on, I wasn't talking to the sellers. Nowadays, I don't want to talk to anybody but the seller. But even so, I found some pretty good deals. So my first deal, I paid $23,000 for a little 770 square foot house. I've never paid more since. That was in 2006. I've never paid more for a house than $23,000. I've gotten free houses. I did a sub 2 recently. Bought one for $5,100 at the tax sale, but I didn't do any negotiating there. And I didn't have to structure those deals. Well, I did have to structure the deals because I needed to know what I thought it was worth, and then how much I was going to have to put into it. And then, it comes out of it. But I've been fortunate for one thing, but what I do now is I get together my 6 sheets. So the 6 sheets that I get together are a realtor MLS fact sheet. Okay, it usually has a picture of the property. If it doesn't, I take my own picture. There's a tax appraisal sheet from the CAD. There is a comps or appraisals. I usually do comps, or I can usually, since it's in my area, I know about what things are going for. And then you're going to need to have, I use a repair cost estimate form that I figure out what it's going to cost to do the repairs. And then the analyzer sheet that we use looks a lot like this. You can barely see it, but it has 3 offers on there. You can have more than 3 offers. You have to really talk to the person that you're talking to, the seller, and determine what they need. Just like Roger was talking about. And that's a whole other lesson, actually. But putting these together, you've got to know the information that's on the tax sheet and the comps. You got to know what the repair costs are going to be. Because if I call Dennis and I ask him, okay, I want you to listen to this deal, and I go off on a tangent talking about how pretty the house is, he goes, whoa. What is it worth? How much the repair is going to be? And that's what he wants to know, so that he can figure out what it's supposed to be. And then, and he always asks me specifically, what do you think it's worth? Because if I know the area that I work in, and if I know that it's overpriced, and I have any inkling that it is, he'll say they're asking too much. So I do have to run everything through my mentor. He's required that. But I do have the cash offer, the cash in terms, and the terms only. But I usually offer the terms first. I don't know how y'all do it, but if I walk in and I tell them right off that I can get them every penny that they want, then they're satisfied. They're happy. Okay, that's great. What do we need to do? So, well, it's going to have to make sense for me. And this is what we're going to do. but I'm going to work into that some of the things that they're going to need as far as what I've talked to them previously about. So that's kind of how I do it. That's not how I do it every time, but if I can't get a contract, I usually at least get an option. And that way, if I need to put $5,000 on it and move it to somebody else that's going to pay retail, fine. I might can person. I might not can, but we'll see.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for sharing that. Tim, how about you? Same question.
Yeah, well, I've been doing pretty much the same thing, especially if one-on-one with the seller. I am a real estate agent, so I always offer a fourth option, which is to list the house as a realtor. And usually I start with that option. I start talking about that option. I show them, if I'm one-on-one with the seller, I'll show them the houses that have recently sold in their neighborhood from the multiple listing service report, and I'll show them what it is and what it's worth if it's all fixed up. If this house isn't all fixed up and in perfect condition and it needs work, then we'll start talking about how much is it going to cost to do the repairs, so that then I already knocked the price down in their mind of how much they say the repairs are going to cost. And so then I talk to them about what they need, just like what Doug and Roger have said. And that question that we asked, that Roger said, I think it needs to be repeated because I'm not sure that it was stressed importantly enough. I'm starting to call this the magic question. And it is, so if I were to give you X dollars at closing for this house, then what are you going to do with it? And then listen to their answer, and then ask them about that answer. Try to go like 3 levels deep on that. So they give you a first answer, well, of course, I want full market value and I want all cash. That's where everybody starts. That's what everybody's conditioned to think. You sell a house, you get cash, and you go do something with that. But you sell a house and you get cash. That's what everybody thinks, and that's what everybody thinks they want. So I have a recent example, house under contract. So I went to the house. I didn't know if it was going to be a retail listing or if the house needed work. I really didn't know going into it, but the house did need work. And the seller had already moved out of town. Her son had moved into the house and brought a girlfriend into the house, and then they were trashing the house, and she was like, I'm done. I just want out of this house. And I said, okay, so, here's what, the other house have sold for and everything, and so, so I started talking to her about what she wanted and what she would do with the money if I gave it to her. And she said, well, I want this amount of money because I really need $20,000 to pay my daughter's student loan debt. I'm like, okay. So after that came out in conversation, then she mentioned it like 3 other times. So I left. I got the contract documents together, put together my offer, and I came back and I offered 4 offers. One was all terms for the maximum amount that she had said she wanted for the house. One was all cash for a whole lot less. And then the one in the middle was $20,000 down and the rest with monthly payments for 15 years. And then the fourth option was for me to list it. And I do offer interest. Some investors, they offer terms offers that are just principal only payments. But something that I like doing is to show them what the total amount that they're going to get is. And if you have interest in there, even if it's 3%, which is what this one was, I was able to show her that her net, if I were to list it on the MLS and we were to let the market bring a buyer, her net would be within a couple $1,000s of her net over 15 years if I gave her the $20,000 plus monthly payments for 15 years. And so that's really powerful. And when we are able to uncover what their main problem that they're trying to solve is, hers were two, paying her daughter's student loans and getting rid of this house, getting out from under it because she had already moved out of town, so her son doesn't move back into it. Okay. And so I was able to solve those two problems, and she chose that option of the four.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's great. So for me, I was kind of making some notes as I was listening to Tim, as I've listened to all of you, because it sounds like we all do kind of the same thing. We probably all have the same mentor. Oh, yes, we do. Thanks, Dennis. So my main goal whenever I'm dealing with a seller is to solve their problem. And I don't remember who said it earlier, but if you don't ask the seller what their problem is, what the goal that they're trying to achieve is, then you may be barking at the wrong tree. So you want to be sure that you're trying to solve the problem that they have. And not everyone's problem is that they need to sell this house for cash. I love your question. What'd you call it? The magic question, Tim? I think it was Tony that I wrote this down and I will never forget it. So what are you going to do with that pile of money whenever you get it? Okay. And that kind of gets them to thinking about what their plan is for this money. Well, a couple things that I like to bring out in conversation, especially if they don't live in that house, if that's not their homestead, I ask them, now, by the way, have you spoken to your CPA? Have you let them know that you're planning on making a large sale? Especially if it's another investor. Other investors, everybody's taxes look different. Everyone's financial planning strategies look different because y'all may not be working for the same thing I'm working for. And you may not, I don't have a W-2 job. And so I don't have another, a W-2 to write off bigger taxes and things like that. Or to reduce my tax bill. But I always recommend that they do that prior to us making this decision, because I like to bring out the fact that, hey, if we do it this way, your tax bill could be lower, but I need you to talk with your CPA before we make this decision. We had Wade Cricken. I think he's going to be in Longview on Monday with you guys. And
did we lose her? I think we lost Karen for a second. So Doug and Renee, y'all are going to have Mr. Cricken at your meeting Monday night. He's a structure. He structures your deals, and y'all are on mute. There we go. So he's structures your deal. I know that Tim, you've had him a couple of times at yours, and he's
been at both locations.
Kind of lays out how you financially you do your business, right?
Yes, he has a great program. He presents a way that we can protect our assets and grow our portfolio in a tax-advantaged environment. So So it's a structure that we can use to protect ourselves as well as to be able to defer taxes, capital taxes.
And we can kind of, when we were structuring our deals, that's kind of what we're taking in mind for both us and sometimes maybe even our clients on how we put that together. So, that's just a great way to do it. So, so I'm excited that Mr. Crickett's coming in. He's an attorney, and he's coming in on Longview too. We've had him at Denton and Wichita Falls, I think, and maybe Grand Prairie. So with that, and while we're waiting on Karen's slow internet, we need to get Doug. You might want to coach her on how to get internet because y'all done great.
We're gonna offer that meeting on Zoom, so everybody that gets a link will be able to watch this. So if you're not on our email list or Facebook or MeetUp, you're going to need to get in contact with us some way to get that link.
Yeah, they can go and send you a message. How is the best way to reach out to you, Doug?
Well, they can call us 972-670-5035. I answer my phone all the time. So,
and CJ, you can put that in the notes down there.
But they can find us on MeetUp. I've put it on Lindale and Tyler and Longview as well. And then in the morning, I'm going to go on there and I'm going to put that link on there.
On Facebook,
but both on Facebook and MeetUp. But the day of the meeting. So,
all right. I just got a text from Karen, and she says the power is out in her whole neighborhood right now. So she's lost power. She probably won't be back on tonight, which is okay. We'll make this thing happen. So, CJ, if you could put that first slide up that we were talking about earlier, put it over to the side. So this is kind of what Tim was just talking about. If he gave you all cash, what would you do with it? And a lot of times the answer is I'll put it in the bank or the stock market. So that's the question there that we need to that we can always come back with. So Doug, how would you, or let's Tim, would you like to comment on that?
Yes, I had a seller that gave me that answer, and so actually this turned a low all cash offer into a seller financing offer when I asked this question. So I'd offered her the all cash, and then I asked this question, and she said, "Well, I'll put it in the bank." And I said, "Oh, really?" And so, what's your bank paying? About 1% a year? And she said, "Yeah, that's about right." I said, "So, and the offer was $50,000." So I said, "So $50,000 at 1% is $500 per year in interest. Is that right?" She said, "Yeah." So over 10 years, that's $5,000 that you're making off of this $50,000. So what if I could give you $15,000 over 10 years instead of 5? And she was like, "Oh, well, how would that work?" Well, I'd pay you basically $500 a month for, it's actually just over 10 years, like 10 and a half years or whatever. And so it ends up being $15,000. So basically $65,000 at the end of 10 and a half years versus $55,000 after the end of 10 years. And she accepted that.
Wow. That is powerful. That is very powerful. Doug, do you got any comments on that?
Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, why pay a small? Why get a small return at the bank or the stock market, or have it disappear, because with the stock market, you may not have that money tomorrow. But with me, I'm backing this up with with real estate. So they are the first lien. And why would they give that money to somebody else? Or why? Yeah.
And if you're just thinking about that, like Tim said, the increase, that's an extra $10,000 that person's going to make just in that example of a scenario. Money talks. It really does.
Yeah.
Good deal. Yeah, it's absolutely. So let's put that second slide on if we can. And Karen said her power's back on, so she'll be on as soon as her router boots back up. So how much interest or dividends would you get? That's exactly what Tim was just saying. What are you going to get on that return? $500 a year? And in reality, she's probably not going to get 1% in today's market, unless she's just got a great bank. So, and this is, like I said, exactly what Tim was saying. Would you rather get the interest, or have me give that interest to the bank? What would you like me to do? And those are just some powerful statements that we use, that we teach in our trainings, that work all the time. We'll go ahead and just jump to the next slide because we went over all that. Sometimes what we do is we look at their monthly bills, and and once again, would you rather me pay the bank or bank the interest or pay you the interest? So you look at their monthly bill, see what they need that money for, and where they stand. Welcome back, Karen, and see where they stand. So so now let's jump to the next slide. So this isn't in no particular order at all. This is just what we threw out there on the slides. But we make 3, sometimes 4 offers, sometimes even more than that, because we can get very creative on the, on any of these offers. We can get very creative on, depending on what they're looking for, what they're looking out of the, looking for the end game on this. So one of the offers that we place, and I think Tim, you do this. You do the terms offer all terms first, right?
Usually, I don't. It kind of depends on the conversation.
Gotcha.
I actually try to listen to the people I'm talking with.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's really important. So and don't make up their mind what they need. They'll make up their mind if you give them the right information. So so offer 1 is usually an all cash offer. It's the lowest offer you're going to make. It's going to be, industry kind of standard on that we hear all the time is 70% of ARV less repairs. And and don't, as Dennis says all the time, if you're not embarrassed by your cash offer, you're offering too much money. Okay. And that's a big hurdle to get over for a lot of us. That was a big hurdle for me to get over when I was first in this business. Is I didn't want to offend anybody. I didn't want to, I automatically assumed they wouldn't take those low offers, and still until I started meeting some wholesalers, and I'm like, you bought this for what? you paid this, and so the wholesalers that are out there, these and they're all these very successful wholesalers, they might be paying 30 or 40% on the dollar on these properties. So it is not unusual for those, and many of us buy properties from the wholesalers that have already negotiated that price down. They're going to make a little bit of money, and that's okay. But all cash offer. Anybody want to comment on making cash offers? Or are we good?
I do have a couple things that I wanted to add to that. Is always make that offer, regardless. Like you said, if it doesn't make you uncomfortable, you're probably paying too much. If you don't ever make the offer, how do you know they're going to say no? But that's why I like to have my offer options ready. Now don't get me wrong. I've had some that called and it was where I'm on my way. I don't need to look at the house first. I'm on my way. And, I won't tell them I'm comfortable with that. I'll say, I'm really not comfortable paying that much, but I think I can work this out. But, that was like a, $10,000 house back in the day. Remember those $10,000 houses? Oh, gosh, I miss those.
That's right.
But yeah, everything else, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Doug, you mentioned something earlier about structuring those cash offers, and then if we don't have the cash ourselves, or the cash isn't it's not one that we want to rehab. Doug, you were saying that you just put it under contract and offer that, wholesale it out, right?
Oh yeah, no. So what Dennis has taught us is use an option contract. An option contract is like a stock option where it sets the price at a set price for a certain amount of time. And so when I do that, it's usually the last thing that I do. Of course, Dennis says never give up, never say never, right? But so if they're not going to take my cash offer, which is always the lowest one, or cash in terms, and they won't they don't want to do owner finance, especially those folks that are homesteaded, they're going to get the cash. They're not going to have to pay taxes on that anyway, as if they've been in there more than 2 years. So if I can get it under contract for that full price, I've got one here that I got a 12-month option on, and it was a little over 3 acres. It was a 2-2 that I could turn into a 3-2, and she wanted $120,000. She didn't want to owner finance it. She wanted to and go, and I got a 12-month option on that for $120,000. Now, all I have to do is find somebody that'll pay me $130,000, and I'll write out the contract, the trek, and get those two to go to the closing, and I get a $10,000 check, or it may be more. I just looked up the ARV on that, and it's at 208 now. So it needed some work, but not a whole lot of work. Y'all were talking a while ago about talking to the seller about owner finance or seller finance. And what I've heard Dennis say is don't say those words. Of course, y'all probably didn't, but I'm talking to the people that are listening they're thinking about, oh, I could go, do a seller finance. Well, don't use the words seller finance or owner finance. Always ask them, if I gave you all this cash, if I gave you $120,000 in cash, what are you going to do with it? And if they say they're going to stockpile it and try to make some monthly income off that, then they need to talk to me further. So
I use the words, let me turn you into the bank.
Yeah. But asking them if they want all cash, if they got all cash, what would they do with it? That's a great lead in, and
yeah, absolutely.
Everybody ought to use it. Use it up.
Absolutely.
I remember Pete telling us about him selling his van at a meeting one night because somebody wanted to sell a property because they needed to buy their daughter a vehicle. So he sold the van that he was driving in that night. Crazy, and that met the met the need of that seller. So it was really quite interesting.
Very good. Very good. Well, let's jump to that next slide over there, the offer number 2. Like I said, these can be in any order. It depends, as Tim said, depends on how the conversation goes, and how you feel most comfortable presenting these terms. So the second offer is going to be the medium offer. In this case, it's going to be maybe a down payment, like Tim was saying a while ago, and the rest of it be in terms. So, as you're asking those questions, what do you need? What are you looking for out of this? Well, I need $20,000. And then, that I just need $20,000 so I can pay my daughter's tuition in college, or I need $20,000 to pay off this bill that these people just won't leave me alone with. So, and then the rest of it on terms, and the rest of it on, and the great thing about terms is, as as Dennis says, when you create a note, which is what terms are, you're creating money out of thin air. It's just poof, the money is there. So, anybody got any comments on this?
Definitely, some of my best ones have been with people that didn't live in the home. They had an empty house. It's typically a second house. Maybe they've gotten married, divorced, or they've moved. And they just had this extra house that's sitting there and it's not doing them any good. And so, yeah, we've bought houses with, $1,000 down and then just took over their payment, which I know we're going to get to talking about subject to at the end of this call. But we also offered her a second mortgage, or a second note for her. So she owed money to the bank, and then we paid her the difference in the equity out monthly. And that worked out fine until that main note was paid off, till she was paid off. And then we owned it free and clear. But I think by that point, we had already wrapped it on with an owner finance. So, it's just, what do they need? And how can I help them get what they need so that I get what I need and everybody's happy?
Right. And if you don't have, if you don't have the money for the down payment, you will absolutely be amazed how many other people will want to come in and joint venture with you. Right. Or you can go to your local bank, and not a mortgage company, but a bank. And sometimes they will come to the table on these smaller amounts that you have, especially when it's backed up by the real estate. The risk is very minimum on that point. So they're wanting to do whatever it takes. So this is where private lenders come in a lot of cases. If you need that, and then you can make a deal with that private lender. Once again, you're creating money out of thin air with notes. So it's a great way to do this business. So, all right. CJ, let's throw the third one up there, which is all terms. And this will be where you're owner financing it. And now, Tim, I think you did one recently that they gave you 90 days before you had to do your first payment. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. So they took the all terms offer, and their mother had been living in the house, and they moved their mother to be closer to them. Their apartment was about $600 a month, so I offered them $600 a month. And this one was, so I did 20-year amortization with a 10-year balloon on that one. So for 10 years, they have their mother's apartment paid for.
Very good.
And and I had the first payment starting in 90 days after we closed, because the house needed some work. So I wanted some time to get it fixed before, and to get it cash flowing before I start making payments.
Very good. Very good. Super. So the all terms is just a phenomenal way of doing business. Once again, now you're offering with these three, and then Tim was mentioning he's a realtor, and he would offer, the fourth offer would be, I'll list your house type offer, where he's not buying the house, but he's listing it in the MLS to sell. But, most of the time investors aren't realtors, and that's okay. Sometimes being a realtor can help. Sometimes it can help not so much, so, but, it's a phenomenal way of doing business. It's a, like I said, it's a way to solve their problem. It's a way to solve your problem, with not having to come out with cash on every deal you do. Also, it makes it a very, very quick close. You don't have to wait 30 to 45 days for a mortgage company to approve everything and approve the house. And that's kind of what I go over with my sellers when I'm doing this is, I'm going to take it as is. If I'm having to go to a bank and I'm having to use my, my bank line of credit on this, they're going to want to come out. They're going to send somebody out, take a look at the property. They're going to do an appraisal on it, and the appraiser is going to look at it, and they may point some things out that they don't really like about the condition of the house. And if that's the case, then that could delay closing even longer. And that's going to happen with anybody out there that's using a line of credit at their bank that has to have an appraisal on it. So that's part of my sales tactic on that, is telling them, with what I'm doing here, we don't have anybody looking over our shoulder. We don't have anybody blocking our deal. All we've got to do is wait on the title company to run title, and we can close.
Yep.
So, but, and once again, it's the Wild West out there. It's the Wild West only on the basis of these are investment properties. Now, if you were to, try to sell houses on terms, it's fine to come up with any term you want as far as balloon payments and stuff. If you're selling to another investor, you can't really do balloon payments if you're selling to an owner occupant, but that's okay. That's just, wanted to throw that out there so people on this call could see that and understand that. So, but you can, I'll just go through real quick. What I do on these is I will look and see what the bank's offering, what the bank is charging on terms and how they're structuring that deal. And I'm going to come in pretty darn close to it. So I give them the incentive, as Tim was saying a while ago, I'm going to, you're going to, instead of making $500 a year, you're going to make $5,000 a year. I'm going to pay you 10 times more what the bank's paying you, essentially, is what Tim came up with. And they get what they want. Or the other one where he's paying $600 and that's what her rent is, and where she's moving to in an apartment that she's moving to. So, there's a lot of areas out there on the 0% interest. Be cautious about that. Make sure you talk to your tax advisor on that. Make sure you're doing that part right. And of course, you don't want to charge too much in interest, which would be usury terms, which is going to be over 20%. But that's not what we're in it for. But you don't, and as a buyer, you want to pay as little as you can in interest, but you still want to make the deal happen. So any comments on this?
I wanted to say, don't try to make when we were talking earlier about structuring our offers. One thing that I see a lot of people do a lot of times is they'll agonize trying to make a deal work. And it's just not a deal. And I mean, they're like, oh, they won't sell on terms. They won't, they want cash. They want cash. They want cash. They want full price. And I have to tell them, look, you're like wasting. There are so many deals out there. Don't try to make it work. But I have had people that needed more than what I was willing to pay. And I have told them, I tell you what, I'll go ahead and put it under contract, put it under option, and I'll send it out to my network and see if any of my investor friends would like to buy this deal, because it doesn't work for me, but it might work for someone else. It was just in an area that I wasn't particularly excited about. And then, I was also going to talk about, Bruce, I'll get to your question in just 1 second. And I wanted to say hi to Cornelius and Kim. I know you guys said hello earlier. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat like Bruce did there. But that was my thing, is just don't, you have to solve the solution. But if it's not a deal that you can't work out, don't try to make the numbers work. Don't fight so hard to make the numbers work. Buy off your numbers, meaning that you've analyzed the deal. You've determined what that after repair value is going to be. You've determined what your repairs are going to be. And then you've determined based on your numbers, how you buy, that it's a deal. So that's all I have on that.
All right.
Do we want to get to Bruce's question?
Why don't you answer? Let's
okay.
Talk about Bruce's question here. That's a great question.
Okay. Bruce says, I have a question. I'm a new wholesaler in Tyler. Welcome to East Texas. And I'm sorry. And a homeowner cut the price on a house $30,000 a couple days ago. Is this a motivated seller by reducing the price of the house?
Maybe.
Maybe. We don't know, Bruce.
Yeah, if they were $60,000 overpriced, they've come down 30. Or if they were $50,000 under value and they come down 30, they're absolutely a motivated seller.
So Bruce, I would say just like what we were talking about earlier is run the numbers. Run the numbers according to Tyler, like and kind houses. How much will that property sell for fixed up? How much of the, or you won't know. You might be able to look at the pictures online. If it's listed online, maybe you can get an idea of the repairs. Was this a for sale by owner, or I'm assuming that this is listed on the MLS? Okay, Cornelius, we'll get to that in just 1 second. We'll give you a shout out for that. But again, we don't know. I would at least entertain making a phone call and finding out what's the situation. Hey, I noticed you just dropped the price recently. What's the situation? Look to see how long it's been listed. If it's a for sale by owner, I know like on Zillow, you can go in and look at the
Zestimate.
When you scroll down, you can see the sales history. I forget what they call it, where you can see how often it's been listed, when it was listed, how much it was listed for. You can pick up a lot of information, kind of nosing around, doing things like that, and that's something that's available to the public. I know that the Longview Tyler MLS is different. They have their own MLS, but I think that they're still on Zillow, if that realtor listed on Zillow. Just run numbers and talk to her. Okay, it's for sale by owner. Yes, absolutely. Give them a call. I've been a motivated seller myself. I bought from people that weren't real motivated until push came to shove. Now they're making 2 payments. Now they have 2 electric bills. Now they have 2 water bills. Now they're mowing the grass at both houses. Wives don't like their husbands having to spend so much time at the other house because they have a new baby and they want that husband there with them instead of dealing with the other house or vandalism. Or just the anxiety of having an empty house can make people more motivated as time goes on. So anybody else have any feedback for that? Nope. Okay.
I would have to see it.
Yeah.
I'd have to go look at it.
Right.
Right. Cornelius Butler just mentioned that he's interested in the Shreveport area for Section 8 rentals. Just to clarify, Cornelius, are you looking to pick up properties that you can rent out with tenants that are on Section 8, just for clarification? And you're welcome, Bruce. Cornelius, if you can, if you'll give me a call at 903-445-6023, I'll make sure and get you hooked up with Doug and Renee. Doug and Renee are in the East Texas market. So they may have, and I think we have, we have a couple of contacts over there in Shreveport that we might be able to get you connected with. And, or if you want to put your phone number on there, we'll make sure that CJ gets it down and somebody gives you a call.
Hey, Cornelius. Oh my goodness. It's okay. So, there is a, what's called a Sabria. It's called Sabria. They're in Shreveport, Bossier City. It's the Shreveport, Bossier City REI group. They meet on the 3rd Monday of the month, which will be next week. On next Monday, they meet at something in Kuko's Seafood Restaurant, if you're familiar with
Ralph
that.
and Kaku's, maybe?
Ralph, and yeah, there you go. Everybody out there knows, everybody that's been to Shreveport knows what that restaurant is. It's free to you to go to, just buy a meal. And it starts at 6:30 or 7. But they'll be on MeetUp. They're on Facebook a little bit. They don't do a lot of social media. But it's a great meeting to go to. I've been to it multiple times, and it's great. You might already be going there, and you might already be a member of that. So, and then Cornelius, that phone number, CJ, can you throw Karen's phone number back out?
He had it up there a while ago. It's at 903-445-6023. And Cornelius, if you go, make sure you tell Roger Ketchum that we said hi.
Yeah. Roderick and Roger are the two people that I know best out of that group. So, but they're it's a great group to go to. They have a great subject every single month. Third Monday of each month, they're at Ralph and Kuko's seafood restaurant. Okay. We only have a handful, just a few minutes left. CJ, if you go ahead and take that off the screen, we're going to, does anybody have anything to follow up with preparing offers and how you're doing it? Doug and Renee talked great about how they do their offer packet. So they have that offer packet there with the MLS, the tax sheet, the comps, the repair sheet, and the analyzer. And then, we all talked about how we make multiple offers on each deal that we do. We listen, as Tim said a while ago, we listen to what they have to say and what they're looking for out of this deal. So does anybody else have any comments on preparing offers before we get into wrapping it up?
So I'm doing an elite meeting in November, the middle of November, about repair estimates. So estimating rehabs, and we're going to go to a sample house, something that I'll find between now and then, and go through it with our form and come back here and figure out what the rehab's going to cost.
That's going to be Saturday, November 19th. And if you're interested in going, you can give Doug a call at 972-670-5035.
That's part of what you need to know to make your offers.
And Bruce, if you haven't already, Roger holds a meeting in Lindale. He runs the Tyler Lindale group, and then Doug and Renee have their location in Longview. And so Rogers is on the first Tuesday of every month at Brisket Love in Lindale at 6 p.m. Mm-hmm. And Doug and Renee's is the second Monday of every month. So it's actually tomorrow night. And Wade Cricken is going to be there. So if you'd like to go there, feel free to give me a call. Or if you wrote down Doug's number, give him a call and find out where it is if you're not already going. Those are great free meetings and ways to get connected with people. We always need wholesalers to come to our meeting. So, right, Doug and Renee, wouldn't you love to have a wholesaler at your meeting with some deals? So
absolutely.
Go rustle up a deal and go network with people if you're available tomorrow night at 6:30 to 9 out in more in Lakeport, right?
Yeah, it's close to Craig County Airport.
It's just north of I-20. So
yeah.
All right, Roger, we're going to talk about subject 2. Oh, real quick, if you didn't get to go with us on the Mastermind Getaway last 2 weeks ago, gosh, has it already been 2 weeks? You can go to mastermindgetaway.com and get not really pre-signed up, but you'll get on the list to get informed when we're going back in 2023.
We don't have a date set up for that yet, do we, Karen?
No, we don't. But we do have the website set up so that they can click on, I think it says reserve now or something. You're not paying anything. You're not committing to anything. You're just saying, hey, I'm interested in knowing when we're going back so I can go with y'all. We had 68 there 2 weeks ago, and it was absolutely amazing. And we will email you whenever we get those dates decided if you go sign up for that. So, all right, Roger, subject 2 in December.
All right. We are having 2 full-day mastermind trainings on subject 2 in December. The second Saturday in December is going to be in Hurst. That's December the 10th. And then the third Saturday in December, the next Saturday is December the 17th. And that's going to be up in the Addison area. So we're excited about it. We sell out every year. The Addison area, I think we're limited to 65. The Hurst area, we're limited to 95. And you can go to our website right here, realimpactevents.com. You can sign up there. You can pick which one of the 2 dates that you want to go with. They both include lunch and a couple of breaks in there. It's very, very extensive training. And I don't know if you can actually see this up there, but we have a very thick and large workbook that we have the information on. We go over all kinds of stuff on this, how we do this. You will get a copy of my subject to book, and you will get a thumb drive. We're working on those right now. You will get a thumb drive with over 50 different documents, scripts, worksheets, a few ebooks in there. So you're going to get a lot of information when you go to these. They've been very successful. So it's $349 for the first person, and then you can bring a friend for $149. So under $500, the two of you can show up and go to this. And it'll say we've sold every one of these. We've sold out for the last 4 years now that we've done these. So you want to try to get to it, or you want to get to it. We have those 2 dates, the second Saturday, third Saturday in December. Looking forward to y'all being there. This is going to be an exciting deal. Got lots of new information in here that we've added because the market's changing. This is really going to be what we're going to be seeing in the next 6 months to a year. We're going to see a ton of people come to the table just needing to get out from underneath a mortgage. So looking forward to seeing everybody in December on that.
Yeah, we'll also have dinner Friday night, the night before.
Yes.
It's going to be highly unlikely that we're going to be able to sell any tickets on the day of the meeting. We've had a lot of issues with that in the past, with not being able to have enough food, because we buy enough food based on our ticket sales.
Right.
And so if you want to come, make sure that you buy your ticket. Please, please, please pre-purchase your ticket before the event, because we need to know how many people are going to be there. So
right. Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Next week, same time, we're going to be going over some of the stuff that we have on our website, the Real Impact website. This is something we've never done before. We've never really shared with anybody some of the massive amounts of information that we have in that subscription only website that we have. So look forward to seeing y'all next Sunday, everybody. And let's kind of look at our website. Let's see what we got out there. We're going to preview some things in there, and you'll get an idea of what kind of massive amount of information, documents, and scripts, and videos, and audios, and contracts, and hundreds and hundreds
policies
of
and
documents.
Procedures.
Yes.
The policies and procedures section is amazing. So
checklist, all the different checklists that you may need when you're doing a deal, different types of deals that we have. So look forward to everybody next Sunday night. Thank you for being on here. Renee, happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Renee.
Yes. And I just,
Thank you.
Doug takes you to the nicest places for your birthday. So he took you to the barn tonight, and then on a Zoom call.
Woodshed tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
Woo! On the tractor? You gonna take her on the tractor?
Oh, she won't drive the tractor.
I have driven and ridden the tractor before.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
There
Y'all
you
have
go.
a great one. Thanks for the
All right,
birthday
you too.
wishes.
Thank you, everybody, for being on here.
All right.
Have a good
Bye.
evening. Thank you, CJ, for putting this together.
Running your own real estate investment business can be stressful, time-consuming, and difficult to manage. Where do you start? Why go out and try and reinvent the wheel when we have the answer? With our exclusive training program, we will teach you how to free up your time to build your business, develop your goals, learning where to find the money, how to find better deals, keeping track of offers, building a team, and developing a business plan that works for you. We at Real Impact Real Estate Training and Mentoring have all the answers for you. We have several plans to help you get your business to the next level. We have developed the best one-on-one personal training system in the industry. We have a proven structure that has been developed for more than 50 years through the purchase and sales of thousands of homes and commercial properties. We will help you set up and build your real estate investment business. Whether you are new to investing or you are a seasoned professional, we have a plan for you to customize your business to a method that works, is affordable, and fits your budget. With training modules like finding money, finding deals, learning how to get correct comps, building a team, short sales, subject tos, foreclosures, making multiple offers, understanding auctions, REOs, and tax sales. working to build your construction team and finding sellers and buyers. Find your property management team, plus over 70 additional training modules to choose from. Sit down with us for a one-on-one consulting to see what training plan is best to develop your goals and to build your business by using the 5 M's of investing: mining, money, maintenance, marketing, and management. Wouldn't your life be great if you can live it on your own terms? We help you develop and structure your business to take massive action. Join the Real Impact Real Estate Training today. Change your life today with real estate investing.